and welcome to the Diva Talks live show. I am the Diva. Yes, I'm still on the cloud from last week. So sorry, not sorry. But I just wanted to say before I introduce my awesome guest tonight, thank you all so much for the love, the kind words, the gifts, the flowers, just everything that you have done since last week and continuing to still do. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you. So now let's get ready for another awesome year, starting with right now. And let me introduce my special guest, Miss Janice McKinney.
Yes.
Hey, sis.
Hi. How are you, Diva?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm blessed. No complaints at all.
Yes. Well, you know, I cannot start this interview without shouting out my boy, your
Yes.
hubby, Sean. Hey, Sean.
Hey, he'll be happy for that. He'll be happy.
You
Yes.
know I have to shout Sean that we go way back.
Yes.
Just as you and I do. We go back, Janet. Let me tell you. I can't remember exactly what the connection or how the connection was. I know we are intertwined with Charmaine, which is my god sister,
Right.
and Vanita. And but I don't remember exactly where we met, but it doesn't matter. But what I will say, Janice, is I read this book. I read your book, which was gifted to me. Thank you very much.
Well,
and signed.
Yes.
I read this in one day, maybe an hour, if that. And when I closed the book, I was like, dang, I didn't know. The title. This is an awesome title, but you're more like a quiet storm. You have done so much, and I had no idea. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to tell everybody who you are, what you do, and let's talk about this book. Let's just dig into it. So are you?
Well, first of all, my name is Janice Elaine McKinney. I am a Buffalo-born girl, raised, schooled right here in Buffalo, New York. I am a mom. I am a wife. I am a Mima. We have 4 grandsons and 1 on the way. I'm a friend. I'm a sister. I'm an aunt. I just try to be the best that I could be in everything that I am. And I really do understand that I'm blessed and that everything that I've had the opportunity to do is because God has allowed me to do that. I don't take any of that for granted. And especially in the past year with losing so many people, I just don't take life for granted at all anymore.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
You named a lot of things that you are.
Yes.
But one of the things that you didn't name was
I was leaving that up to you. I was,
I want you to tell me, first of all, how did you come up with this title?
So I first of all, shout out to Sheila L. Brown, because it was because of Sheila's Authors Academy that actually I wrote this book. Awesome. This was not something I ever had on a to-do list. I never said I wanted to write a book. I talked about doing classes because I serve as an executive director of True Community Development Corporation, which is a development arm for True Bethel Baptist Church. So I always said I need to teach people how to do this community development stuff. And one day we were away and Sheila kept talking about this was her last class. This is her last class. And I was like, we were sitting at dinner and I'm like, let me just do this now. I don't know. I just felt like led. I'm like, I'm going to do this class. So I went to the class and it was hard work. But I had things written in journals and on pieces of paper. And, then I had to pull it all together. And 90 days later, I had The Quiet Builder. The Quiet Builder was not my first name for my book. I wanted to say building with real life Legos. Because I always say that. I say, I'm allowed to build with real life Legos, creating housing for people and developing projects and apartments. But we realized that is somebody's brand. So I was going through all my notes and Will from Black Western New York wrote an article about me and it was called The Quiet Builder. So I took it from that article because I was like, I was going through, I'm like, that's it. Because it's just what you said. Most people have no idea what I do. People just think I'm a pastor prison secretary.
And let's stick a pin right there. Stick a pin right there. Because when you see Janice, you think of True Bethel.
Yes.
and True Bethel only.
Yes.
I didn't know that you actually started before True Bethel was in the location that it's in now, which
Yeah.
is the old Twin Fair.
Yes. Yes.
So you taught, it's you and two other people, which
Right.
is Bishop Pridgeon
Yep.
and Rashid, right?
Yes. Yep. Rashid Wyatt, Councilmember Wyatt.
Okay.
Yes.
So when I looked at that, I'm like, so you three have always been together. Talk about that.
So and you know, this kind of, I always talk about divine purpose, divine intervention.
Mhm.
Rashid and I and Darius have been friends since Rashid and I actually from grammar school. I was friends with his sisters, and by me being over their house, that's how I met Rashid. I have been Darius's friend and like sister since I was 9 because his mom was my brownie leader
Mm.
at our home church, St. Luke AME Zion Church. What's ironic though is Rashid and I am the common denominator. However, Rashid ended up coming to our church back in the day with his girlfriend, Carla, who went to our church. Somehow we all formed about, because so I knew Rashid and I knew Darius, but then we somehow became very, very close. And just from at early ages, we started doing things in the community. We had a something called Concerned Citizens Against Violence. So, we were out there protesting against drug paraphernalia and different things before, it was other people were even thinking about doing that. And that's not to knock anybody else, but
Right.
it's been there. And we're talking about, we're in our 50s. So we're talking about, I was early 20s doing this stuff. So that's how long we have been together, as we call ourselves the Three Amigos.
Yes.
That we've just been together. We've helped each other. When Pastor Pridgeon or Darius got the call to be the pastor of True Bethel Baptist Church, which a lot of people don't realize, True Bethel Baptist Church is over 50, probably almost 60 years old now. He is not the founder. There were 4 to 5 pastors before him. He just took it to a different level. And we came and we all worked different jobs. I worked for a local HMO. Darius worked at the post office. Rashid worked for a bank. And, when he said he was coming to actually be a pastor, I was like, okay, I'm gonna help. And we just kept doing stuff. And then one day I was in church, and after Sunday service, I was in his office crying. I was like, okay, I don't know why I'm saying this, but I gotta come work at the church. And he just looked at me. I was like, I don't know why, I don't know how, and back then my first husband, I'm like, he is gonna kill me, but I gotta come. I said, the only thing I ask is that I need the salary that I'm making now within a year, but I'll do the work to make sure we do it. And you figure I was the first church administrator for True Bethel Baptist Church, and that was in 1999. So from there, from that, I created a community development corporation, which is True Community Development Corporation, in 2004. And it started out, honestly, we need to do some programming, summer programs, different things like that. Never in a million years that we said, okay, we're going to do we're going to do housing projects. That really, and I say it fell in our laps. We were helping the community with the toxic waste site across the street from the church. We helped clean that up. Then someone came to us and said, hey, you could really do housing. Mm-hmm. I'm like, housing? What, how do you build housing? I don't have an urban planning degree. I don't have a general contractor's license. But I do know I have a gift of organization. And I know that and I talk about it in the book, every step I've ever taken since I was a little girl has led me to this very moment. Mm-hmm. It's not a coincidence that my church, St. Luke AME Zion Church, is at East Ferry in Lonsdale, and True Bethel is at the other side of that. And Reverend Pridgeon has some of the same similarities to being here. He has a picture in his office right now where he is in the parking lot riding his bike with his dad and his cousin when it was Twin Fair. So I really, as I got older, I just was like, none of this is by chance. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's not by chance, and I don't take it lightly. I'm learning to embrace it as the quiet builder. I'm not one to just be in the forefront. Everybody will tell you that I like being in the background. I like making it happen. Everybody else be dressed. I'll be sitting in the background at client hands and sneakers and a t-shirt and be good all day. But I'm learning to show up. I will say, with the help of, shout out to Dietrich Trueheart, because you got to show up. When you show up, things do happen. And and not that you're recognized for it, but God is able to see that you're ready to be used even in a bright way. And I'm embracing it. I'm be honest. I'm embracing that. It's a rough world out here. There are not a lot of African American women developers. Rhonda Ricks, God rest her soul, got a couple of projects, and then God saw fit for her to come home. So, when you think about Buffalo, New York, there's a lot of there's developers. They just don't look like us.
Right.
So yeah. So that's some of my story.
You are amazing. When I got to this particular page 25, nuts and bolts of community development.
Yes.
So many people ask me, how do you create a CDC? How do you create a board of directors? Where does funding come from? And can church members serve on a CDC board? Right. You went step by step and you gave free nuggets to in this book.
Yep. And it's because, I'll be honest, people kind of, people always, everybody see the glory, they don't know the story. That's the truth. I would have people come up to me and say, hey, I need you to do for me what you did for Pridgeon. And honestly, I tell people all the time, let me tell you, first of all, that's a lot of love and friendship and God. I said, but I think people need to understand, especially faith-based organizations, we have a lot of power and we have a lot of weight, but we have to be organized. When you're doing community development work, it's not a clothing pantry. It's not a food ministry. It is business for God. And that's how I always say when I'm giving seminars, that's how this is about doing business for God. You have to have your paperwork right. You have to have your board correct. It is not a way to supplement a church's income. It is, you're doing community work. You're doing community, and the benefits for the community have to outweigh the benefit for the organization. And that's just what it is. I mean, not-for-profit organizations do this every day in our city of housing. They just don't always look like us. And they're doing a really great job. And we've learned how to couple and collaborate with organizations like Belmont Housing Resources of Western New York. A lot of people will say, well, why would you let them do your projects? Because I don't want to fail. God gives you wisdom. So why would I want to partner with someone who has the same values, have the same morals as us, and who is willing to teach? So every project that is sitting, whether here or in Niagara Falls, it bears the name of True Bethel Baptist Church, because that's the legacy we're trying to leave. Belmont management manages them because they have the expertise and the experience. And that's smart business. That's just what you should do. You don't have to do it all yourself. You don't have to do it. You just, the goal was to provide decent and safe, affordable housing. And that's what we've done.
You bet. So as if that's not enough, what else do you do at True Bethel?
Well, so I work for True Community Development Corporation as the executive director, as the founder and the executive director. So I created that, like I said, in 2004. That takes up a lot of my time at True. That is what I do full time. I'm a licensed real estate agent. I also have my own consulting business called Developments by Gem, where I help other people do projects. I actually just finished a state project with business owners on Jefferson and Bailey Avenue to help them put some money in their business and facades. It's been a very challenging construction year, between the work, not having enough workers, not having enough supplies, and then prices. So some of those projects will have to continue in the spring of 2022. But that's just some of the things that I do, besides trying to be a wife and a mom and all this other good stuff. But I balance. I've learned to balance. I know people don't think I do, but I do. I really do.
You know, you are amazing. Like I said, we've been knowing each other for a long time, because I'll tell you a little story about Janice. Janice would call me to plan an event, a party or what have you. And Diva, are you available on this day? So on and so forth. And I would say yes. She was like, I said, okay, just give me the information. She would give me a binder already with everything planned from A to Z. And I'm like, Janice, you've already planned the party, or the event or whatever it is. You just need me to host, right? No, I need you to plan it. I'm like, you've already planned. She's like, I just need you to just do whatever it is that you do. So I'm like, I can't have you paying me to plan something that I'm
Yeah.
going to pay you what I'm going to pay you, Diva. No, you plan. I'm
Yes.
like, so it's in you.
Yeah. And it's in you. So people have, I've just learned, and I've had great mentors that tell me that you don't do everything alone. And I know what my lane is. Your lane, you have a personality that is just loving and caring. I'm pretty hardcore, I'm pretty strict. I'm kind of black and white. And though I'm very loving inside,
Yes, you
people
are.
when I first met my husband, uh people around the church would be like, "What did you do to her?" Like, man, she is like, you have turned around, because I'm really like about business all the time.
All the time.
And he's helped me to lighten up, because as my husband is definitely the fun loving,
Oh, yes.
and I've learned to be that way. But you have that personality. I don't want to stand at the door and be greeting people. They put me at the door on weddings to make sure people who didn't RSVP don't get in. That's my lane. But if you want me to be nice and fluffy, I'm better. I just keep saying I'm much better than I
You
used to be.
are a sweetheart. The work that you're doing, though, you have to be like that. You
Yeah.
know, you're building communities. You know what I mean? So I understand that, but I know the softer side of you. So I had the pleasure of meeting you and meeting the softer side, and I appreciate you for calling me to do whatever it is that you need done
Yeah.
on the party side, the event planning side. So thank you for always
Yeah.
looking at me and using me for that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
How was COVID? I mean, I know you said that, something with the work and things of that nature, not
Yeah.
being able to get things, but during COVID, what was your life like?
Um, so we all got sick. Like, I got really sick. I had the fever part of COVID.
Mm.
And it was crazy, because like people just were like just our core team of people were just kind of like getting bits and pieces of everything. And as you know, everybody knows my pastor got sick. But it was really weird, because I was trying to be on meetings and I had like 102 temp, and I was
Mm.
trying to do, and then one day I was like, I couldn't do it anymore. But coming out of COVID, it just it like they always it either made you better, or it really did make you better. Like, but I think it made most people better,
Mhm.
because it was just unreal. Like, you just weren't able to do things that you normally could do. We
Right.
would be going on rides every Sunday, be like, okay, but we can't go anywhere or do anything. We're gonna go for a Sunday ride. We felt like two little old people, because that's all you could do.
Right. Right.
Um, but as it relates to work, it was challenging. I mean, I had to step back from doing a single family homes project, because the prices had tripled.
Mm.
And being in a not-for-profit, your budgets are very tight. You're working with funding that's restrictive, so that kind of hurt my heart. But I said that it allowed us to just, hey, let's start over and let's do something bigger and better. And that's what we're planning for. But COVID hit everybody really hard, whether personally, whether professionally, and we're still feeling the effects of it in project management and
Mm.
construction. I was on a project site today in Niagara Falls, and we got furnaces that are coming in like 8 at a time. They were 16 weeks out, now they're 10 weeks out. That makes a big difference when you're doing a project.
Yeah.
You need the
Yeah.
supplies to get things done. And laborers, have just been very few, as they have been in all industries.
Right.
So I hope and pray it's not maybe the end of COVID, but maybe the end of this COVID mentality, and trying to get us back to something different. It'll never be the same. It will
Mm.
never be the same.
I feel the same way that you feel. I saw you guys on the news, the three amigos on the news. You had a project that's in Niagara Falls. Are you able to
Yes.
talk about that?
Oh yeah. So it's called True Bethel Commons. And it is a project in Niagara Falls, New York, on the campus of the Niagara Falls Church. So we have three locations. One is in Niagara Falls. So it's 39 units of affordable housing coming. They're scattered amongst three buildings. And we walked through there today. Really some cool apartments. We have apartments, they're like lofts, where
Nice.
it's up and down. There's a couple of apartments that are going to be in some attic spaces. So they're going to be really, really nice. And they sit right in the heart of Niagara Falls. Our church will still be there, but just the other three buildings are being converted into these 39 units of housing.
Now, is this housing just for True Bethel members?
Oh, nothing that we do is for True Bethel members. It
Okay.
is for anyone who is in need of housing, anyone who qualifies. When we're doing affordable housing, as you keep hearing me say, there are guidelines by the state according to income. And that is not to that is not to have people on the outside, but it is to provide for those people who have lesser incomes and they're able to get decent and safe housing. So this project will be just like any of our projects. They are open to anyone. We probably don't even have 25% of True Bethel members living in our projects at all. It is and that's kind of that's the separation of having Belmont Housing manage. There are protocols. There's ways that you have to do it, application. So this is not a True Bethel just own some apartments, come get an application. No, this is real stuff that we're doing.
Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing, amazing, amazing. Janice, I was telling you before we came on, I'm like, normally I have notes.
Right.
I was so amazed by this book that you wrote that I'm like, I just want to talk about that and how it all came together, and to know that this wasn't even the name for it. But like I said, you're the quiet storm, definitely a quiet storm. Besides this laundry list of things that you are doing and what you're doing in Niagara Falls, what do you do in your downtime?
I love to travel and I love going to outside concerts. Like I look up going to Detroit to sit on the water at the Aretha Franklin Pavilion. Like I love that kind of stuff. That is what I do in my downtime. And I like old school. I like some old school. So I'll be at an old school party in a heartbeat. I want, I like I said, I've just really learned how to embrace my family, my grandchildren, and just relax. Like, I'm really silly. Like I like having a good time, so outside of work, I'm good. And my circle is very, my circle is very, I say, not smart, it's protected. I have friends that I've been, Darius, myself, and Rashid have been friends since we were 9 and 10. We're in our 50s. They're older than me, by the way.
But just to throw that out there.
Yeah, by the way, they're both older than me. So, Vanita, Charmaine, I have when I say a great sister circle, and I have like these groups I have girlfriends from high school, I have girlfriends from church, then I have girlfriends that I met after, and, they all can intertwine and they're all fine, but they are my friends no matter what. I love Charlotte. I could go to Charlotte, hang out with my girlfriend Jan on her patio, go see my girlfriend Shan. That's what I get a joy out of. That's what I love to do most. So, work is work. I work hard, and everybody tell you when I'm at work, I'm working. I don't come in the office and I'm hee ha ha. Because I have so much to do. And I just never want to miss something. And I've missed things, I've made a lot of mistakes. So, you just try to stay on path to make sure that things are getting done, especially when you are doing it for other people. People's lives depend on what we do. Whether it's in ministry, whether it's in housing is a ministry. So I try to make sure that I do those to my fullest. But when I'm having a good time, I'm having a good time.
And you deserve to have a good time because you are one hard working woman. And if you haven't gotten a chance to get this book, it's a great read. It's a short read, but it's action packed. It has a lot of information that she has put in this book, and it's a very affordable book. Okay. Um, what
They
would
can
you
get it
say?
on Amazon. They can
I
get
was
it
gonna,
at
I'm gonna give you,
Amazon.com.
you already know, I'm gonna give you a chance to tell where you can get this book from, because
Amazon.com,
you
right.
can't have mine because it has been signed, sealed,
Yes.
and delivered. I'm gonna give you that chance, but tell me before we close, um, person that's trying to do what you do, what
Mhm.
advice would you have for them to get started?
Just do it.
Mm.
I went to school for broadcasting.
Mm.
I wanted to be the first Black Barbara Wawa. Like, and
Yes,
that was because Oprah wasn't around then.
that's in the book.
So I literally fell into all of this, but I realized the skill set as I talk in my book, everything that I learned has allowed me to be able to do the things I do. But if it is something that you're really interested in doing, surround yourself with those people who are doing it. So in this world in Buffalo, I'll be honest, it's a lot of white males. I'm right there. You know, I
Mhm.
have a mentor, Dave Pollock, CSS Construction. I shout him out because when I didn't even know this is what I wanted to do, he was teaching me things, and I took advantage, and we are still good today. And actually, he wrote something in my book, and you need to get it from all different people, white,
Mhm.
black, Puerto Ricans, women, because this community building, it's about just that. It's not just construction, it's not just development, it's not just architect. People say, oh, you must know how to build. I don't build one wall. What I do though is I coordinate all the architects, all the GCs. The GC coordinates all the subcontractors, but you do need to know how to relate to all of them
Right.
and to be on task. So if someone wants to be in building, just start putting yourself around those people and do that. I mean, there is not a BOCES program for community development. There just isn't. You have to be able to have people who are willing to teach you, and that's often hard, especially in our communities. We got to learn how to share a little bit more.
Mm.
People ask us every day, how did you do this? I share whatever I have, because no one gave me a book that said this is how this goes. So
But
I
you
don't
turned
have
around and
it
did
is
that.
exactly, so I definitely, I just tell people and ask people. All they could do is tell you no, or they could tell you, oh, I don't do that. Just ask people. You'll find someone who's willing to show you how to get to where you want to go. And that's what I'm doing. I'm still trying to figure it out. I still don't have all the answers. I know it sounds like I do a lot, but I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, God, where am I really supposed to do? And I think he's probably looking at me saying, now, what part of this don't you get? I'm like, well, I just want to make sure, but I'm sitting in it. I'm sitting in it.
Hmm.
I
Well,
am.
as you should. You have given a lot of nuggets, and so now tell everybody where they can get this awesome book from.
So The Quiet Builder is on Amazon.com that you can order, or you can go to developmentsbygem.com, and you can hit me up that way. And I can definitely get you a book. Find me on Facebook, DM me, whatever. I'll be delivering books all day because people's like, "Where's your book?" I'm like, "Oh, here you go, here you go." So it's been good. It has been good, and I'm glad that a lot of people tell me it's not what they think,
It's
and
not.
that's good. It's not. I'm glad that it's not what they thought.
Yeah. It's an awesome read. Like I said, you give a lot of information. You tell your story because, again, once you see Janice, you think True Bethel. You think,
Yeah.
Pastor Pridgeon's right hand. You know what I mean? It's like a doctor, nurse, or nurse practitioner, or whatever. But you to know your story and to know that you all grew up together with kids, and then how you bring it all in, how you tie it all in, it's just awesome. And then at the end, just what you said we need to start doing in that sharing, you share and you list it out and you make it easy where you can take notes, you can write in the book, you can do whatever. So kudos to you.
Thank you so much.
Kudos to Sheila Brown for getting you
Yes.
up and getting you
Yes.
out to make sure that you did what you needed to do, because this is definitely a treasure for you whoever buys this book, you have definitely spent your money wisely. You can thank me later.
Thank you.
Trust me. Janice, is anything else you want to say before we go?
No, I appreciate platforms like this. This is really good stuff that we're doing. And I love to see people doing it. Every time, you start on the 45s, right? On 8.
Yes,
Now
yes.
you're on a talk show. This is what we're supposed to be doing. This is what we're
Thank
supposed to be
you.
doing. So I appreciate you so much for having me on.
Thank you. Thank you. And this platform is always open when you continue to build, when things are starting to open, or if there's anything that you just want us to get out, you always have a spot here on the Diva Talks live show. I appreciate you. I love you. I applaud you. I love you and Sean both together, just the whole family. I'm part of the family, and I'm blessed to be a part of the family. Congratulations on everything that you are doing. And the three amigos, everything that you guys are doing is just wonderful. So keep watching out. Don't go anywhere, Janice. Once again, thank you so much for being my special guest.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you. As we do every week, I am the brand ambassador for Glamorous Embellishment, featuring paparazzi accessories. Tonight, just simply, if you share this video, Diva Talks live show, you could have your very own beautiful silver necklace. You can make it short, you can make it long. I was thinking about my mom all day today. It's not a day that goes by that I don't think about her, but today she was heavy on my mind. And it's ironic because my aunties caught me, all three of them, on a three-way clowning, and I needed that. And they didn't even know that I was in my little mode thinking about my mom. But Auntie Irene, Auntie Lily, Auntie Deborah Jean, which is the #1 fan if you are on 45s on the 8, they called me just out the blue. And I say that because I wore red today because that was my mom's favorite color. But for whatever reason, she was deep on my mind. But again, if you share and then you type in the comment section, shared, Sean will put your name on the wheel. We'll spin tomorrow. And tomorrow before noon, we'll find out who the winner is. And we will either send, or you can come by and pick up the jewelry. This piece comes with some beautiful earrings, not these earrings, some earrings, but they are little diamonds. And this beautiful piece here, the stone is gorgeous. Isn't that gorgeous, boss lady? That is gorgeous. So share. Doesn't cost you anything to share. Just hit share and that's it, right? Share it in the comments and you could be a winner. Once again, thank you all for all the love that you have been showing me since last week, all year, I should say. I appreciate you. Thanks again, Janice. And I have my cup here. Thankful, grateful, blessed. I'm going to use this mug here. It's going to be sitting here for a long time because that's me. I'm thankful, I'm blessed, and I'm grateful for each and every one of you. As I say every single week, find your happy space. And when you do, make sure you stay there. It's the best place to be. See you next week, once again, with an awesome guest. Until then, stay blessed. Stay in your happy space. Good night, guys.